Welcome back to the Long and Thick podcast, where we help you navigate the noise and go through the bullshit in the health and wellness space. I am joined by none other than the fabulous Danson. Danson Dan, as they call him back in Florida.
Mr. Fab Danson.
How the fuck are you on this fine day?
Fantastic. We have been properly rebeaned.
Yeah, this is a part of our routine. Folks will catch on and go, every other week you say you have fresh coffee after the last week's episode. What's happening? Well, we go get coffee in between.
Yes. We shake the sillies out, let our brains rest for a second, reconvene.
Eat cookies.
Eat cookies or pastries or some sort of confection while being at Crema Coffee Roasters here in Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I am delightful. It's the sun's gone. The 3 seconds of sunlight that we had today came and went, but I was happy to see it.
Yeah,
it was nice.
Peering over, dry up some of the dribble. Question for you.
I have an answer, I hope.
You definitely do. When was your last tattoo, and when is your next tattoo?
Ooh, last tattoo was probably...
Was it post-conference?
Yeah, when was...
That 2 Novembers ago?
Yeah, so then it would have
been... And then you went like a couple months later?
Yeah, so that would have been the end of 2024, early 25. I got a filler on my left calf that was a like Japanese tiger and cherry blossoms, and it's like a tiger kitten. He's playing with a ball of yarn.
Very sick.
That was Ryan Duarte here at Lucky 24 Tattoo. Forgive me if that's wrong. But yeah, I'm due I actually want to go back to him, probably do more gap filler. It won't be super immediate just because I have some travel that I will have to circumvent first. And then maybe on the other side of that, maybe that could be a birthday stitch to myself. It could be an April scenario, actually.
Okay. I was going to say, I feel like it's been pretty
it's been a while
off the radar for you and myself actually too, but
where has my money gone since? Camera gear for this, travel
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Other goodies.
What about you?
Last one? I think the last one was my side, belly, rib. Yeah. And that was, last year. Actually sort of close to this time, maybe like March-ish.
Anything in the pipeline?
Well, I'll go back to New York for Devo's graduation in March, right? No, May. It's March now. I usually have to say the months in my head. So while I was spinning out there, I started at January, February, March, April, May. So that's how I'd have to do that, sadly. Yeah. And then try to line something up for then. Probably do the other half of my torso and see what I have left in the tank. My soul gets sucked.
How much more do you want to put on your body?
I'll do that. I'm going to put a bunch of filler shit in between. So there'll be 3 main pieces on my under breast.
Technical term.
Yeah, it's the anatomical language actually. Then I'll fill a little bit lower pube rocker, cover something up. And then the last thing
pubes? Just cover the pubes up.
Yeah. Can you tattoo these on for me? No. The last thing, big major piece thing that I would do that I don't know. I have some ideas who I would want to do it, but these artists are really fucking hard to schedule with, and all of them are in different countries. So I've saved my left leg for a continuous sleeve, right? Themed by one person.
Not to cut you off, but do you still want it to be in Japanese in nature, or?
That will be, yeah. And probably keep anything that I've done in the last year, I've kept black and gray, I believe. And so I'm going to stay more in that lane. Yeah.
Word.
So
Tight.
fun stuff.
Very nice.
Yeah, been a minute.
Well, we have a lift of the week.
We have our final one. Yeah.
Day 4 of our little split ski.
Yeah. So today would be our accessory day, right? So little recap. We have a upper, a lower. We just did a full body. And now we have the final day in the full week structure. So post listening to this, you have no further reason to not have some kind of plan. Even if you take the bones of this and tweak it, just fucking do it. Write it down. Fuck Shia LaBeouf. Yeah. I was gonna give him the call out, but the guy sort of sucks. I'm not a big fan.
He can't keep it on the rails, unfortunately. There seems to be this constant oscillation of a new redemption and then a new falling out. And then, hey, what did you do that for? And he's always good at copping to it. But if you have to just constantly cop to it year after year after year, it's like something's not given, my dude.
Yeah. And I know mental illness is a very real thing. I'm not shitting on that, but like you have endless fucking money. Get help. Get it sorted.
Yeah.
Anyway, working out is good for that. First on the list, we have a barbell suitcase carry. And when I say barbell, I'm talking about the preset weights that are like the shorter barbells. You can use a regular barbell. It's just a much longer lever. And if you got little baby hands or
janky wrists
or your grip is just not there, it's going to be like a limiting factor for you. So essentially you're going to take some laps carrying this bitch, keeping things pretty level, even keel. Should be a good, hard-working, awakening set. It's pretty full body-esque.
And as a visual, this just kind of came to me. So if you've ever been in a gym where he's talking about a preset weight barbell, is generally most gyms will have what looks like a little pyramid. It's a weight tree of various weights of preset barbells. And they'll say like 50 or 60 or 70 on the side. He's talking about balancing that in one hand. So on the side of your person, you will hold the middle of the barbell. So the weight is kind of precariously balanced in front of you and behind you. And you're going to hold that with core tension and walk with it like it's a suitcase back and forth to stimulate both your transverse abdominis and also to challenge the muscles supporting your spine, which is ultimately the most important part of this exercise. Sorry to derail.
No, it's great. It's a worthwhile derail. Find a distance that's repeatable in the space that's like a clear measurement, like from that wall to that wall, and take it where you can. I don't want you like shitty failing, halfway on the lap back. It's probably too heavy. Like, what would you say is a good amount of laps per side per?
If you're okay with counting your paces and you're good at standardizing what your gait would be, I usually start my clients on this as something at the 40 pace range.
Okay.
So that is almost like, depending on the person's stride, 40 paces is about the length of our gym. So 80 paces would be down and back. But to your point, you'd probably want to find a repeatable place and then just add like 4 steps every single time. Yeah. Or know that you got down one way and then the next week you go down and a quarter of the way back, down and halfway back, down and 3/4 of the way back, and just find a way to progress it that way in a semi-standardized fashion.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's going to be this one because you're just utilizing your own body in free space. You have to be your own critic and keeping yourself honest, but it shouldn't be. Don't overthink it, honestly. Pick up the weight and start walking with it. This is
the fucking most simple thing possible, but we're adding some good guide rails to it. Yeah, you can progress with the distance, and then as you've gotten to a distance that feels like unreasonable to keep doing laps at, you're ready for a new weight or, well before then, but
for sure.
Yeah. Next.
My follow-up is going to be an incline chest press in a machine modality. So my personal favorites is something that has more of a parallel neutral grip that starts wide and then converges to the center as you kind of go up to your incline. That is my favorite. Not every gym has those, but anything of an incline chest variety is fine. Barbell is fine. Smith machine is fine. Dumbbell is fine. Again, I hark on this all the time. I just like the stability of machines because it allows me to focus and express the maximum amount of my strength on tap rather than having to do balancing coordination tasks. So incline chest press machine, Make it heavy. Make sure your shoulders don't go up into your earlobes and stress your neck out. But it should be challenging, but also should be enjoyable. Your 6 to 10 rep range, 3 sets. Don't overthink it. Send the stuff. And then we move on to your... I mean, again, Ronnie is a movement specialist and he works a lot in postural restoration, including articulating the maximal amount of parts of the human body for you to keep your ranges of motion in all things as you age. So that being said, lay us on this next torturous little device you have for us.
So really it's a triple extension drill. I put Smith machine triple extension so that people can weight it and understand a simple way to safely add weight to something like this.
Before you illustrate the exercise, can you tell those who don't know just what triple extension is?
Yeah, triple extension is getting your whole posterior side really into extension in the most simple way, right?
Yeah.
So we're getting back, hip, knee. You can argue that people will say it's the ankle too, but the ankle really ends up flexing. But I like to tell people that think of it as just your leg getting fully behind you because it's simpler to understand that way. Essentially, I have somebody start this hands on the wall. Let's say we're going to start with your left leg. So you're going to float your left heel. You're going to fall into the wall at a distance that gets you to feel like you need it to be there to support you initially. If we're doing this pre-Smith machine, right? So you've like fully teetered your center of mass forward. Left heel floating, right leg fully off the ground.
And by left heel floating, you mean that you're balancing off the ball of your foot.
Correct. Yes. Yeah. And it's never going to touch the ground. You're going to sink down. So you're going to close the car door with your ass while getting your right leg to reach back behind you. At that point, your left knee will be pretty bent. Your heel will still be off the ground on your left foot. And as you start to drive your right leg through, like you're trying to knee forward and up, you're going to push the ground away from you with your left foot. That's going to straighten your ankle out. It's going to push you like gas pedal down. Your knee is going to go backwards. Your hip will go forwards on the left side. And at the top, you're going to be in this sort of like sprinter half high knee stance at a full calf raise. So here we're getting soleus, gastroc, hamstring, quad, ass cheek, some back stuff. If you add this to a Smith machine, you're just going to ride the rails down. You got to start pretty chill because this can be very fucking crushing at the bottom position. You're going to see people do what I say, turn into Elvis. And you're going to start like finding these wiggly zones where you just neurologically don't have aptitude there yet, typically.
And if you're having trouble imagining what this might look like, easiest way, because you mentioned sprinter. So if you can imagine a sprinter setup on the blocks, you are ultimately mirroring the extension of the first driving leg, but instead of moving more forward at a 45-degree angle, you're moving more up at a 90-degree angle. But just imagine if you were a sprinter and you had to extend the leg completely that you were driving off the block with, that is how you're repping this out.
Right. If you're doing the body weight, you could go something like 3x20, especially with the type of like stimulus that we're going after with this. And calves are just like outrageously dense muscles that can use a bit of extra oomph. If you're weighting it, for sure, we're still going to go into that lower range because we want you to be like optimizing how much power tap out you can get. So I would say start body weight, get the feel for it. If it feels super fucking easy and chill, hop onto the Smith machine and play with a weight that by the 10th or 12th rep, you're like fucking firing. Like you're really, really.
Yeah, there's no way not to, especially if you're never allowing the heel to plant. So another way to also look at this, I'm trying to make this as graphic for people as possible that don't necessarily know anatomy and leverages the same way. But so you're technically thinking like you're coming down in a reverse lunge in a way while keeping your ball of your foot on your driving leg down. And then you're going to basically drive your knee that's coming back in your reverse lunge back up forward. And then the leg that's planting the ball, the foot, you are fully extending all the way up and bringing that tie knee. So basically, like I said, it's you're repeatedly going through one half of a sprinting motion over and over and over again.
Yep.
Before you're just never allowing the next foot to hit the floor.
Right.
You're just working on the driving leg that would allow you, in theory, to start sprinting.
Correct. Yeah. And then you'd switch sides and
yes.
Yeah.
Which is a hellacious exercise, by the way.
Well, leave it to me. As y'all have seen throughout the, we have a fun way of balancing each other out.
For sure. And yeah, I am the one that allows pieces of you to be strong. He's the one who makes all of those things work together and
talk to each other.
Yeah. Which often is the most difficult part and most cumbersome and painful part if you have let some of those things lapse over time.
True.
So it is very valid and very necessary. I will then lead us with something much more benign, fully stable. It is a reverse fly, also on pec deck. Now, this does not have to be on machine. This could be done on cable. This could also be done on like a bent over dumbbell type scenario. I just happen to like it on machine. You have to just set it so your arms are also parallel. If it's slightly above, it's not terrible, but I just like them to be parallel. Arms will be mostly straight and you'll be focusing on the rear delt. You'll feel it mostly in the rear of the shoulder. If you pull too much bend into the elbow, you're going to start moving into mid trap, and that's not what we're doing. You will still recruit the rear delt, but it'll just be overshadowed by much larger back muscles. So think a long, wide arc and reach, and you will feel that much more in the back of the shoulder rather than rounding it around your spine and having the shoulder blade go into the mid trap. So
yeah, this muscle in particular is horribly easy to miss.
Yeah, miss target for sure.
Anything behind your head is sort of difficult to talk to, just like as a principle. It's just much easier to curl your bicep and do shit that is like in front of your body than it is recruiting things that are behind you.
Yeah.
So
especially too, because depending on your background, your athletic ability, your experience of this, you rhomboid, teres, lats, rear delt, mid trap, you might not have the internal language to even differentiate that. And that's not your fault.
Right.
So it takes a lot of specificity and a lot of experience to really be able to manipulate your way through that. And you'll probably get close, and that's why don't get lost in the sauce. Just get the arm moving this way.
Yep.
And then I usually make the exercise with my clients that I'm like, all right, do different levels of arm bend. So you see what turns on and what turns off. I'm like, oh, aha, I get it.
Yep. Yeah.
So, and just start light, because as the lever length away from your body gets longer, your weight jumps hit a lot harder out here than they would be here. So like a row, for instance, you could add 5 pounds quite easily. Adding 5 pounds out here might stop you dead in your tracks.
Very different. Yeah.
So that would be what I would hit him with. And then we need exercise 5.
Love it. I put in a hanging leg raise. So here we're working on some grip fun, and some good core recruitment. So find a bar that is a comfortable height for you to be able to dangle from. Good starter is just getting like knees to chest. And we really don't want you swinging on this. This isn't like a get your momentum to get your legs up kind of deal. You want to be pretty static. So you could have a little bit of some lat squeeze, some finger squeeze, for sure some forearm squeeze, just to keep you a little bit more stable. And then I often cue people to like tuck their ass a bit, because that's how you're going to get for dudes, what we call like the dick lines, like getting that sort of V low. Yep. Like that area that it seems actually pretty hard to hit for males or females. And so, yeah, start with just bringing knees up. And then you can progress into getting into like a straight leg scoop up. If you're getting too much quad or hip flexor shit in this, you are swinging your legs too much. So you got to think about having like dumb legs, like they're just out and you're trying to raise them by squeezing your ribs to touch the top of your pelvis. And that's going to get this whole frontal nook of fun to close and bring your legs up. Don't worry about how high you get them. Focus on feeling the area that you want to actually do the job that you're trying to get it to do.
Quick little pro tip too, if you are doing it on an apparatus, kind of what's behind us. So it can, certain racks, you can have a pull-up bar that you can hang from, but also have movable barbell racking clips. If you get a barbell point or position to where it's kind of in your mid back below your shoulders or even lower than that, and you use that to stop your swinging.
Oh,
So you basically just lay against it as you're hanging. That helps certain people, myself included, be able to target that a lot better without, once you start doing it and you're just starting to like get a pendulum thing and you're focusing more on your balance and your coordination rather than being able to just target your core the way you're looking for.
Yeah, that's great. That's a good little backstop.
Literally and figuratively.
Yeah. So that is a full week.
Yeah.
Of some pretty
4 days progress and progression at the core tenet of the whole thing.
Yeah.
Is if you're just doing the exact same weights and reps every single week, you're having this program fail you. It is designed to be scalable, and for you should be tracking your lifts, your data, and being conservative with it, but you should be advancing at least bi-weekly, if not every week.
Agreed.
And then, let us know what you think about it. And if nothing else, drop us a review, a comment. Most of the stuff that we get through comes on Spotify. Drop us a review. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you might want to change in something like that. And we'd love to hear from you.
Yeah. And I'll give you one more thing to add. Your favorite coffee place that you have experienced
In the world.
in the whole fucking planet, and also Nashville.
If you live in Nashville.
Because we're curious, and or somewhere else. Unless it's like Arkansas. I'm not going.
I mean,
just kidding.
There's actually some really good coffee shops in Arkansas.
I'm not surprised. There's got to be something.
Onyx is out of Arkansas.
Is it?
Yeah.
Fuck me. Sorry. Just kidding. No, it's too late.
One of the premier coffee roasters in America is out of Arkansas.
Well,
go fuck yourself.
That's right. Fuck your mother. How about that?
All right. So we haven't even talked about what this episode actually is.
We're too busy just dishing out fucking value. Pancakes.
For full value, all of our riffing. But this is what we're going to call the bigger picture. This is our leaning into verbal manifesting and our own personal accountability to each other, as well as our listeners to, one, we are telling you we are going to do something. We are going to do it, but also invite others to start leaning into this practice because everyone gets lost in the soup of their own mind. They can imagine an infinite amount of outcomes, but that usually keeps people stagnant and sedentary, myself included. I am so good at imagining what could be, but it's better to be like, hey, I'm going to do this, and then just start taking ugly action.
Yep.
Which I am working on being better at, and I'm imploring everyone else to also be better at. Some people are just awesome at it, which I tip my proverbial hat to you because I wish I could. I wish I could just have a fleeting idea and immediately start acting on it
and do something with it. Yeah.
So that is what this episode is about. It is just the bigger pictures of where we as people want to take mostly our professional career, what we want to do with the podcast, and really just put this into a immortalized something that we cannot take back.
Because it's out there.
It's out there. And then other people can also hold us accountable. It's like, hey, we heard you say this. Like, are you doing that?
Yeah.
Which we deserve and we should get.
For sure. It's something that everybody needs, which is we harp on the value of community endlessly, but without that, you don't have folks holding you to the standard that you're trying to, attain. And so it's just easy to be like, I didn't really keep up with that. It's like, well,
why not?
Why? You said, what changed? What's going on? So for sure, all those points are valid. So we will lay it all out for you.
All right. So in terms of bigger pictures, we're looking at, our real intent of this was going to be professional, but we can also talk personal. And we can also just talk the arc of the podcast. Where do you want to go first?
I'll start professionally.
Okay. So what do you want and what do you want to be building?
So what I have come to see that I want more of is less interactions at a higher quality. I'm pretty serious about once I get involved with somebody's care, their success or lack thereof feels very personal, which I think is a good thing to have somebody, advocating for you like that. It feels more and more uncommon within healthcare related anything. So I take it pretty seriously. I've had in this year what I've opened up in the clinic here as PRI intake sessions. They're 2-hour plus appointments for your first visit. I'm asking some what feel like crazy questions about health history and things that my phrase that I keep falling back onto more and more and feels very applicable to honestly like how I view the world more and more is about zooming out. And when you don't zoom out enough, you really start to get lost very quickly. And you lose appreciation for just how many things there are to account for. But just in the scheme of navigating health stuff, I feel like the people who have been the most gaslit or feel the most odd or like their symptoms and situations are just like so peculiar. Those are the people that I tend to do the best with because I help make sense of what they're talking about and how something like a nose job could influence how you feel in your body or a piercing or, a surgery, like things that seem obvious. People will go, yeah, duh. But braces, eye changes, like things that often just feel like they live in separate lanes and they don't. You have one body and they all fucking shake hands with different subsystems. There's no escaping that. And so helping people integrate around that is where I feel the most passionate. It's the most fun for me. Well, and really A+, it's the most beneficial for the person. So what do I want is more of that because people get better when I have the capacity to like dive into something like that. And I don't really at like 45 sessions a week. It's just too many things to juggle on top of like the handful of people that need and want a more like intense, detailed, plan. And so I want more of that, not at the expense of my ability to like survive. Right. And so building out a structure that supports that and gets people better more intensely at a higher demand from both of us. Like you got to really fucking show up. If I'm asking you to be somewhere, on a call or in person or whatever, like every 2 weeks for a bit, again, zoom out and remember what took 10 years to create this problem might not be done in 2 sessions.
Right.
I hope it is. It probably won't be.
Highly unlikely that it's not.
Right. And I think, the more that we buy into these like quick fix type of things, especially when it comes to physiology, like you're just going to end up being more fucked up somewhere else. Even if you put the fire out today, there's still a little coal, glimmering under there.
Sure.
At the best case, let alone, how things can tend to change. So I want to embrace more of that because it provides the most value for the people that I get to work with and have the privilege of doing so with. And also really puts my clinical hat screwed onto my head. So
sure. Well, so in talking about previous episodes in how to exercise goal setting and actually get the goals, what are you doing to do that? And what is a reasonable time frame for that to be adopted?
Yeah. I am looking at trying to, what I started doing was I started in the wrong place. I started with the money and I thought, okay, what does this cost? What is somebody reasonably going to pay? Blah, 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 blah. And I said, wait, I'm like approaching this all wrong. What kind of week do I want? What kind of week gives me the most availability to be as potent with somebody? Because I feel the difference, just like you do. At last session, sorry, person that's seeing me last in the day, you have the least amount of me. Like I've been drained to some degree. I'm not as sharp. I feel it. I see it. I catch things differently. And so I am reverse engineering from the outcome side first and then structuring around that. There's a handful of folks that I'm going to be trialing something like this with. So making sure that this isn't just like written on paper and vomited out and then I don't ever do anything with it. Like it actually has to begin. The other piece too is that I have stopped using any kind of like AI to help because I want to figure it out. And I know that there's a lack of efficiency around some of that, but there's also a lack of ownership that you trade when you have a, machine tell you, here's the perfect idea. And then you end up analyzing 500,000 things and don't do shit.
Okay. So give me a time frame now.
Time frame is, we'll start some first iterations of what I'm envisioning in April. So next month.
So that's testing, but when do you want to when do you want to have at least a handful of clients doing what you want it to do?
No later than next year, like January.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. That's the segue point.
Sweet.
What about for you?
For me, I also want to, I guess, elevate myself out of a single transaction thing, monopolizing all of my time. I love what I do, but same thing. Once you get into that 35 to 40 plus session a week range, one, there's barely any time or bandwidth left for anything else. I love what I do. However, that there is a ceiling there and that's great. And you can only shuffle things around to so much or raise your rates to signal some sort of growth where the structure will ultimately have to change. And I too did pretty much similar to you in the sense that I looked at, okay, if I do this, where's the money going to come from? How's that going to all leverage? But it was as recent as last week where I had some things in the middle of the week get shuffled around and I was able to I've been working at such an early hour for the last decade. I don't know anything else. So when everyone's like, oh yeah, it's nice to like wake up and have coffee and take the dogs for a walk and do all that kind of stuff. I'm like, yeah, whatever. But then I did it for a day and I was like, oh shit.
I need this in my life.
Yeah. So, and there's a quandary there because I've been conditioned and institutionalized to this style of living for so long. If I don't do it, there is going to be some recoil of guilt of like, am I not doing enough?
Yeah.
But I think I just need to make my time work a little bit better for me. So what that looks like is I don't think I'll ever want to give up working in person with people on a one-to-one level.
Same.
And I still work one-to-one with people at a distance too on virtual coaching. But I want to be able to spread myself a little wider and be able to help more people in the same amount of time. So what that looks like, what I'm currently building is now probably at the chagrin of a lot of my in-person clients, I will have to take some sessions away of my availability. Selfishly, probably allow myself to start later in the morning for once in my life.
Yeah.
Which again, I struggle with guilt with, and I do not like saying no. I do not almost admitting that like, okay, I'm not going to help the maximum amount of people, but at least in that lane.
Sure.
So, cause there's no more time left. So I have to get it from somewhere to put it somewhere else to help even more people. So I still do one-to-one coaching. I will upscale that a little bit, but if I take that too far, that's just replacing what I'm opening up on one-to-one in person, which is not helping my cause really. So the next thing would be fleshing out courses for myself as well as group coaching, which is less concierge, less hands-on, but I'm trying to copy more of myself and more of the intellectual property to be able to spoon feed more people ultimately without having me standing over them in a gym for an hour. So developing that so I'm allowed to do it. I do for more people, but also buy back more of my time in the process. So I have been actively working on this in the best pockets of time that I have available amidst being in a gym 50, 60 hours a week, doing this every week. So it has not been coming along. And that's why I'm saying this. Cause like, okay, you have to start sacrificing somewhere to get this moving. And that's just, you don't get something for nothing. So that's a big catalyst for even this episode is just saying out loud, like having more ears on me saying this is what I need to do for myself. So what that looks like is being able to host group coaching for more people. Again, I'm not going to scrutinize every single detail. I'm not going to micromanage everyone's programs the same way,
Right.
but I'm going to try to impart everything that I've learned and the experience and wisdom that I've gained to help the most amount of people, because it is now more important than ever. I mean, it is.
Yeah.
People are going to get even more confused because of the internet and AI and all this nonsensical stuff where we just, in America, we just need to move more. We need to be stronger. We need to be a little bit healthier and just be better to each other. And if I can facilitate that in an online platform that effectively and concisely helps more people, I want to do that.
Exponentially more people. What is the timeline on that?
The baby iteration for it, I was trying to get done this month. It probably will be the end of March, early April for the first test of how that will work. And I want it humming by June.
Fully ripping.
Yeah.
Okay.
So at least the V1 of it.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's going to need a lot of tweaking and tuning and what value people get or what might be falling through the cracks. But that has been something I've been kicking down the road very slowly. And I just want to kind of hold myself to it, that the early test phases will be at the latest early April. And then I want something actionable and just even if it's cobbled together, a full framework ecosystem of what I want by June.
Sick.
So for you do all of what you want. It is moving in a place that you really like by January 2027. What does it look like in 5 years?
I think in 5 years, there's some cool established freedoms in traveling, potentially doing the same type of thing in multiple states, having a little bit more option to leave here when the tornadoes are going to come ripping through, or when the summer is fucking
burning everything
sizzling
down.
my testicles into oblivion. So having a little bit more freedom from needing to be tied down is the 5-year iteration. And like you had just said, with the, version changes of things and seeing what works, what doesn't, that's going to exist inherently, right? Like the trap that you'll fall into in starting any type of endeavor is like trying to anticipate, well, what about this? It doesn't even fucking exist yet. Tomorrow's not even real yet. Like, so just don't even worry about it. If you're going to fall on your face, and then you figure it out. You learn the lesson, you adjust, blah, blah, blah. So, in even exploring some of these things, you find people's advice in like, here, think about these 40 things before starting a new endeavor of any kind. And it's like, holy shit, I have to answer all this stuff about things that I didn't even think were a thing. Like, yes, eventually, but if you start there, you're going to be so overwhelmed and not do any of it. So, again, why we're starting with just like, what are you doing? Good. Keep going.
Yep.
And then, the 5-year version is like the same, ironed out, better refined, more flexibility without sacrificing quality for people. I think the more aware I am of the capitalist machine, right, that everything siphons into like one of 4,000 people's pocket in some way, shape, or form, I want as little of that as possible in my own life. And so that's another piece that feels like, okay, starting with the money is a pitfall, because morally it's like so in opposition to the nature of what both of us are doing. It really is like, and so I just think if anybody's hearing that and thinking a similar way, almost regardless of your work, like remember to start with the people and not get caught up in being so business driven that you start looking at people like numbers, because that sucks.
True.
How about you? What is the 5-year printout?
So the thing that like the imposter syndrome part of me struggles with is at some point I will want to and need to outsource and then scale outward with more people to do what I ultimately want to do.
Like hiring people.
Right.
Yeah.
Because my internal, like, one, I'm very confident in what I do. I'm very confident in what we do in terms of our ability to help and kind of cut through the noise, pun intended, of those things. But my reach, even if I go on a group thing, will still hit a ceiling.
Yeah.
So the 5-year for me is being able to flesh this out even farther and wider, and then enlist other coaches in my employ to help do that and scale that up. And thankfully I already have some people that are already interested, and it's more so if I build it, they will come kind of thing. So I'm very humbled that people even have interest, or I mentioned it. But for me, I'll struggle like, well, who wants to do this for me kind of thing.
Sure.
So that's just personal demons.
Yeah.
But that is the next piece. Also within the 5 years, I want this, what we're doing, to be a bigger platform.
For sure.
For larger audiences, better far reaching guests that have more influence in more places. Not just to say that we did something of influence, but to influence more people in a good way.
Yeah.
To have more reach of the message and the distilling down what seemingly are complex subjects to very simple solutions.
Yeah.
So that's ultimately what I want. There's a couple creative endeavors that I also want to do in that time that I don't even want to, I'll say, something more in terms of creative output. We've talked about the photo book, that kind of thing. Maybe more in print as well. And also I have some software ideas, but that's down the road. So, but still putting it out in the ether.
Yeah. I think too, part of what that vision of the openness is like another revenue stream, right? Like in full transparency, and this shouldn't be news to anybody. Like people want more revenue streams,
sure,
because it gives you more freedom to not be tied down and decide, hey, this morning you don't have to go do something because you need that X number for that hour or 2 or 5, or that you have to commit to blah, blah, blah. You've already sort of taken away so much so that you could, build that thing up that bolsters you and gives you more freedom to help. So for sure, having the podcast really be blooming in a way that opens up more room for exploring. We talked about it before we even went to Japan, but like recording there, or, interviewing people there, or what, who knows? Why put a limit on it preemptively? That's really silly. So yeah. And like you said too, some of the other endeavors that are just like, there's a doctor who I follow. She's a neuroscientist, Dr. Rachel Barr, I think. She's neurodivergent and wonderfully articulate with her vocabulary in such a fun way, and has a huge emphasis on poetry, at least for herself, and writing, and really talks about how the like revolution, which you and I have spoken about in terms of the AI rebellion, the analog recoil, craving, right? The like simplicity of the Walkman and the car that only drives, and just like connecting with the thing. The same thing is very true for like art creation, right? There is something so innately human about it that is just like people need to keep creating, right? And in some way, shape, or form. If cooking's your creation, if science is your creation, if math, like it's not about the quintessential like paint, draw, make music is art. Like anything can be an artistic expression. And so I want to be better about fostering more of that within myself, and like getting other people stoked to do the same thing, and being like, holy shit, this is good for me with no other, I don't need more from this. I'm not doing this for this hour so that I can sell a fucking picture of a duck for money, right? Again, it always comes back to this like, oh, well, how do I make money with this? Like, fuck that. That fucking sucks. It's such a shitty way to keep closing the circuit. Like it should just stop at, I'm just stoked in doing this thing. The end. Don't learn how to woodwork so you can build cabinets and then start a business. Like, fuck that. Get out of that loop.
There's plenty of other ways. Not everything has to be monetized in your life.
Please, we have to stop embracing that. So I want to be more like that, especially. So fuck, get me fired up. Start fucking screaming over here.
So what, if anything, do you want to continue from your current tasks into what you're building?
Yeah. I mean, I think the refinements like you spoke to are what even gives us this idea in the first place, right? Like clearly there's things that work really well. I'm seeing the pieces that don't. I love like in-person time. I 1,000% confidently can say like you cannot reproduce the same thing online. It is so unique. There's a energy exchange. There's so many facets to like being with a person in a space that is just like, that's all that is. I don't want to lose that. I don't want to only have that. And so, finding a better balance of what that looks like, I say would be the main piece that I keep in terms of the professional side. And then the pieces too, that I am currently doing, I think fortunately well, are like having, the soul recharger things, the nonsense bullshit things that don't make me money, like playing video games or spending money, fucking ripping packs of, keeping those in like a healthy space. That's just like, oh, I love this art. I feel like a kid enjoying this thing. The end. No other thing.
Yeah, this is kind of an offshoot that wasn't planned, but we have touched on it before, is finding something from your youth or things like for us to make us feel boyish. And there is going to be societal pushback on that because we're taught to just it's a one-way street. You grow up, you get rid of the old things, but most will agree that there's not that you can't take pride and solace in what you have built in a career fashion or a family fashion, but I think there's another movement kind of happening where you're seeing more people talk about like some of that simple, really childish stuff is necessary. It is not a signpost that you're regressing or being immature.
Definitely.
I think everyone is looking for simplicity and nostalgia, and us as 90s kids, just the simple playing in a neighborhood. Not that it might not be the same anymore, but we're I think as a society and a species, we're looking for that again. And we probably need it now more than ever.
Yeah.
Is to your point. We need those simple things that have no other value other than just to ground us and feel young again.
Yep. Because
we're growing old at an alarmingly fast rate, and we're getting sent head first into a meat grinder, both personally in our career, geopolitically.
Yeah.
So I think now and that's not to say that you have to completely have an escapist mentality where you're like, oh, well, I'm just not going to talk about anything reality. I'm just gonna get lost in my creative things. No, we're not saying that. But most people don't have any time carved out to play, to make you feel youthful, to get back to something that was very simple and brought you joy when you were younger. So maybe lean into that. Maybe that's a worthy sacrifice to carve out some time, or talk to your family or your significant other, like, hey, this is not you at all. I just need to get a little piece of this back just to feel something.
Yeah. And if you don't even know where to begin with that, just begin. Take a fucking pottery class. Go try a new restaurant alone, or like whatever the thing is.
Close your eyes and think about the first thing that comes to your mind as you as a 15-year-old, what brought you happiness. Go do that. And then go. Yeah. Just go do that. So
what are you keeping in the tool belt repertoire lifestyle?
I mean, definitely anything one-to-one. So in person, like you said, is irreplaceable. And I don't want that to ever go away. I don't want to have this season of my life where I've had like the best time exchanging ideas, energy, and knowledge with people for their fitness and their wellness goals to just go away. Right. I'm never going to age out of that or give it up. Yeah. Or elevate above that. So I want that to always be ever present some way, somehow. Now, again, I've already kind of hit my envelope and then some, where I've left really no social time for myself and other creative development time for myself. So I do need to pull that back, but I don't ever want to replace it outright. So in-person training for sure. One-to-one concierge training I also like, but I will need to cap myself just in the sense of, one, not letting anyone's quality suffer because I'm spread too thin, but also allowing myself to have the time and the bandwidth to do the right thing by them in that direct one-to-one time. Yeah. So those two things just need to be reined in a little bit while I build these other things, but I never want them to go away necessarily. They have their purpose.
What about the good like lifestyle things that are outside of that? Like what things do you feel like are working right now that you want to keep or make even better?
That's good. Well, I think I consider this a lifestyle creative pursuit. Maybe a little bit more in terms of photography and music if I can. I usually leave my small bits of hits for those are going to be during travel for photography. So yeah, I think just taking photos more and just trying to have that just be something that is a documentarian perspective, because everything can be a nice memory if you let it, and too many things pass us by. So being able to hang on to more things and not just take pictures of my phone all the time. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No, but it's a different experience.
The analog experience is very refreshing. So
yeah,
more photos, more reading and writing too. That's been
got to crack that book open you got me. I have it in my bag. It was like,
yeah, I just finished my buddy Spencer's book last week. Started a new one. I've always seen it around, but I just started The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. So yeah, it's been nice.
Hell yeah.
So in summary, everyone should be working on stuff that they're building that actually make them happy in the long run.
Yeah.
And when you are trying to build something new, just saying you want it is a great start. Just talking about you wanting it is an even better start. Like share it with your people. And that's the best leg forward, because then other people will at least like check in and remind you like, hey, what about that thing? I was like, but give yourself tangible, specific ways of, I'm going to hit this mark by this time, and then work on the next one. Because if you don't give yourself a direction and a closeout point, you're probably not going to move forward on it fast enough or at all.
Yeah. Yeah. And keep yourself afloat and balanced with playful shit that is not about making money or any kind of business endeavor whatsoever.
Sure.
But yeah, we hope that this was, a good pondering and view into some of the behind our eyes thoughts. And
shoot us a comment or a review, anything that you can tell us too, like what you're working on or what you may have taken from this episode, or perhaps what we have wrong in our approach to what we're building as well, because we don't have this figured out. We're figuring out as we go along. But more than not, we want to hear what everyone else is working on and what their really goals, what their goals they really have set for themselves, and how we can help you facilitate them as well.
For sure. Until next time, folks, we appreciate you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.